I am tired of hearing about AI, and it seems like there's a lot of that going around these days. A lot of people are kind of just like, dude, I don't want to hear, one more thing about AI. People are actively avoiding it, actually. If you say, so this is, with the power of AI, people are more likely to avoid it. So, there's a lot of that going around, and I think, it's because of the useless stuff like this humane pin and this rabbit thing. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna use a pin. I have a phone, right? People aren't gonna use this. There's a lot of Chat GPT wrappers, going around, and I think it, comes from ChatGPT. ChatGPT released in 2022, and it was really it was a watershed moment for a lot of people. They didn't really realize, including myself, didn't realize how far, it had come. And I think a lot of people, got scared. They were worried about work. They're worried about how the next couple of years would go, and a lot of people, cheated on their homeworks, because that's what students do. And it was the most popular. It took around 2 months to reach 100 million users. One of the fastest turnaround times for any program ever. Even TikTok took 9 months, right? And so it was a real moment. It was a real big moment. And it's been a year or two now, and there's just been a lot of AI in the news. AI, at work. The first time I encountered it, it was I was working on a project with a friend at school, and she was like, "Oh, let's just put the prompt in ChatGPT and use that answer." This was for coding, by the way. I was taking a Java class at the time, and I thought that was kind of like, what? But she puts something in the prompt, and it spits out an answer. It doesn't work, but it still spit out code, which is kind of, I didn't think it could do that. I thought it was like, wow, this is insane. But it does that, and then, I don't use it. I don't use it. I don't use ChatGPT that much. I'm not a ChatGPT user. But it is, it's a real moment for a lot of people. And then I think the next time I really encountered it was at work. So I work for a big finance company, and basically the head of IT, we had a meeting with him, and he was talking about how, like my jobs, like help desk level 1 jobs, are going to be redundant, and it's just going to be chatbots. And that still seems ridiculous. Like, no frustrated user is going to want to talk to a chatbot instead of a human. That seems very out of touch. But I think there's a lot of that getting pushed by Microsoft, right? So Microsoft is pushing Copilot to Windows 11 users, even if you don't want it. I mean, I have it right here, Copilot in preview. All right, that's enough of that. But they're pushing it hard. They're pushing it really hard, and even with the recall feature, right? So this disaster, the plan was to screenshot your computer every 5 seconds. Like, why would that? How could that go wrong? And there were a bunch of people complaining about security concerns, like security researchers and such. But it ends up, they end up not doing it because, that would have been terrible. So, Microsoft is pushing it very hard because that's what the market wants. That seems like that's what the market wants. And they're pushing it really hard. They're pushing it really, really hard because of what the stock is saying, right? So you can look at Nvidia stock. ChatGPT came out in November 2022, and since then it's just been, it's been exponential, with 500% in the past 2 years. So they're kind of, Microsoft is kind of forced to go along with it. Similar, with Apple, right? Apple, they can't compete with ChatGPT. Now they're using ChatGPT on the back end, but it's Apple Intelligence. Google has to use Gemini. And even like other stuff, right? So the AI boom makes millions for Anguilla. I don't know how to say that name, but 10% of their GDP came from people buying .ai domains. every country gets a domain, so like a .com. So America has .us, Angola has .ai, Twitch, not Twitch, Tuvalu has .tv, which is in Twitch, and there's a lot of AI. It's an AI craze, really. And it kind of reminds me a lot of this scene from Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, great show if you haven't seen it. But just listen to this.
Wait, I don't know if this would be relevant, but he did say the word Oculus a whole bunch.
Wait, Oculus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It's a VR play. That's the frothiest space in the valley right now. Nobody understands it, but everybody wants in. Any idiot can walk into a fucking room, utter the letters V and R, and VCs will hurl bricks of cash at him. Then by the time they find out that it's vaporware, it's too late. I have got to get in on this.
So just replace the words VR with AI, right? And it's talking about NVIDIA specifically. NVIDIA is particularly interesting because before this craze, I think the really big craze, was crypto, right? Let's see how Bitcoin is doing. So crypto was a real doozy, right, over here. So I remember this first craze, right, 2017, it was crazy, and then, this, and then, Bitcoin's all over the place, but NVIDIA has, done really well for themselves, because they provide GPUs both for Bitcoin and for AI, and they're doing really well for themselves. It seems a bit too much, right? It seems like it's a bit too much. It seems like the .com bubble. It seems like so Cisco. Cisco was basically NVIDIA during the .com bubble around the early 2000s. Here you can see, and they're at astronomically high prices, and then they still haven't recovered. Right? It's been 20 years, 25 years almost, and they still haven't recovered. So it seems a lot like that. It seems a bit like that's going on. But people are getting tired. People are and I think it is mostly because people aren't seeing results, right? So ChatGPT, revolutionary, it's crazy, but you can't really do too much. You can't do a whole lot. Yeah, you did the whole thing. You did the whole chatbot thing, and it's really cool. But then what, right? People felt as if it was going to change lives overnight, and that hasn't really materialized. It's just been a lot of, this is going to be the new thing, and this is going to be the new thing, and I think people are tired of hearing about AI. I am personally tired of hearing about AI. So we'll see where it goes. I think it's going to take a bit of time. I think in 5 years we're going to think like, okay, this was really something, right? Similar with the .com bubble. The internet was born because of this, and like Facebook comes in 2004, and then iPhone in 2008 or 2010 or something, and then it takes a bit of time, even though Moore's law says we'll double our processing power every year or something. It's not the same for it's not the same as this, but yeah, that's all I got. See you in the next one. Look at this shirt. You like this shirt? Look at that. I'd show you the back, but that's too much work. Okay.